What's up guys, welcome to Voicey here. This is your host that's angry at Texas for its crappy December weather, Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady with a couple bonuses from r/Today I Fudged Up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story's called The Church Doesn't Hire Elves. This happened last year, but as my friend got asked about it yesterday, I figured I would share. My one friend is very religious and is part of all things church as far as I know. So when they have plays or concerts, think they just call them performances. She was always part of them, which means as her ever loyal friend, she requires me to attend at least one performance of each she does that year. Last Christmas season, I ended up going to like 15 of the 30 plus performances. They would do 2 a night. Well, the time in question was when I had ended up attending the performance after several hours of me playing an elf at an event that another friend asked me to help her with. So here I was, dressed like an elf, going to support my friend's church performance. I was tired. In the line in front of me was this couple and their 3 kids. And the kids were going pretty much insane. They were yelling, screaming, and running around. One even tried to climb on a nearby chair. The parents would switch which one would chase the running kids around as they were trying very hard to get their children under their control. I groaned. Forgetting I was still dressed as an elf, I loudly said, "Santa's not going to be happy when he hears how you guys are misbehaving." The kids stopped and stared at me. I was even taken aback at how sudden their response was. I seriously didn't think they would have even heard me. The kids all came back to their parents, or rather they all ran up to me.
"Wow, an elf! You know Santa! I'm good, I promise!"
were what the kids were shouting, and a few other things. 3 kids at once. Yeah, I am not going to be able to remember everything they say since they like to talk over each other. Took me a few moments to realize I am still dressed as an elf. The parents look at me like I was their savior. I sighed. Well, happy kids are quieter than wild bored ones, so I smiled at the kids. "Yeah, I am Jingle, and yeah, I know Santa for sure."
"Are you really an elf? You have normal ears,"
said one of the kids. "Oh, I was born with rounded ears. All elves with rounded ears get a special job." I shouldn't tell you this, but there are elves around all year round. We are elves undercover and use how we look like normal people to spy on the kids and report to Santa. Since, you know, he is super busy this time of year, meeting everyone and making sure all the presents are done. We keep an eye on things for him, I said, hoping this kid would buy this story.
"Oh, wow,"
the kids chimed. They bought it. And during the next 20 minutes or so, they asked me questions about Santa and stuff. I spent the time pretty much telling them about all the different things I've seen in movies about Santa. They were calmer. We got our tickets and watched the performance. After the show, I sat in the lobby to wait for the next show, and the original group of kids ended up coming to me with more kids. So, between the performances, I entertained the kids with stories about Santa. They were so calm, so I was cool just telling the stories to kids. Again, I got tickets and watched the show. After the performance, I met up with my friend and we were just chatting, when this elderly woman came up to me and touched my arm.
"You did a good job too. I am pleased to see the church hired an entertainer to keep the kids from wreaking havoc before and after shows,"
said the elderly woman. The pastor was nearby at one of the tables. "Excuse me, what did you say?" said the pastor as he now put down his paper and came over.
"And I am happy you hired an elf to amuse the children and keep them calm,"
said the elderly woman. "I didn't," started the pastor. "Expect that a volunteer would be dressed as an elf. Sorry, I don't work here, I just volunteer sometimes," I said to the woman, who smiled. She donated some money and left. "You don't," started the pastor.
"We know you don't like elves, and we know she doesn't work here. I will see you tomorrow. Laters,"
said my friend and started to drag me off. The pastor and I do not get along, and my friend called me today asking me to show up again as an elf this year since the pastor is already getting upset that people are calling him to make up reservations to have the elf watch their kids between performances. First of all, what a good friend. Second of all, what a good person. Third of all, you're a good words. Cool cat. I'm coughing. This story's called The Staff Gave No Help. This evening, on my way home from work, I unfortunately had to get the train, which in the UK is a very unpleasant experience. So I was waiting at the far end of the train platform for my train whilst on my phone to my wife and drinking a coffee. A man walked up to me on the platform and asked if I was a guard. As a note, I'm quite a big guy, but I wasn't dressed as a guard. I was wearing a Christmas jumper with a large, fluffy Santa on it and jeans with trainers. I said no, and then he politely walked away. He seemed like a nice old man. I hope he had a nice weekend. But the next people can step off. So I assumed this lady overheard the man ask if I was a guard and assumed I was. She came over to me and started complaining about her train ride and how it was so busy and they couldn't sit her in the reserved seats. Yeah, the trains really are crap, I replied, assuming she was just in a bad mood. I was still on the phone with my wife at this point. The train lady kept talking. I'm not sure what she said, but I just replied, "I'm really sorry, but I'm just in the middle of a call." The lady proceeded to walk off, and I continued listening to what type of flooring we need to get for our bathroom. The lady then came back with her husband, who both then proceeded to shout at me in the platform, surrounded by people. Here's the cast. There's me, lady, and man, and husband will be her partner.
It's a friggin' disgrace. How dare you be so rude to my wife when she's making a complaint? I don't give a crap who you're on the phone with.
I'm sorry, mate, but I'm on the phone with my wife, and I can't help you with anything.
How dare you be on the phone at work? I paid to get the train and your service is frickin' awful.
I don't work for the trains here. I'm waiting for a train.
He's lying. The god there said that they were both gods here.
She pointed at a random guy in a high-vis jacket. He just shrugged at me and got back on his train. I have no idea who that man is. Look, here's my ID badge. I showed them my ID badge from where I work. I'm a teacher. The guy then proceeded to grab the badge from around my neck and then punched me in the face.
Ha! Idiot. I'm taking this to the train manager and you will be in for it.
The guy and his wife walked off. They stopped about 50 meters down the platform, looking at my ID and shouted back,
"You aren't a guard, frickin' liar."
They threw my ID on the floor, then proceeded to leave the station, walking past the actual guards. I hate trains. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds really frustrating. And, why did the guards just let you get punched in the okay. This story's called Didn't Even Have a Uniform On. So today I was shopping at Walmart for some art supplies I needed for a school project, and decided to stop over and look at some Christmas sweaters that were on sale. While looking, a woman in her 40s comes up to me and tells me she is looking for zip-up hoodies. I literally in no way, shape, or form look like I worked there. I had on a hat and my winter jacket, and my hands were full of things I wanted to buy. As the polite person that I am, I looked around and said, "Sorry, I don't know where they are." She begins to explain to me that she needs a zip-up hoodie and says, "You know, a hoodie with a zipper? It zips up," and continues to explain to me what a zip-up hoodie is. I once again say I don't know and try to keep shopping. She then got angry and said to me, "What do you mean you don't know? You work here." I didn't even say anything. I just walked away and I could still hear her yelling about how I should know. I bet she left a complaint about an employee in a winter hat and a jacket who refused to help her. I literally don't even work here, lady. What I think it is Karens are so entitled that whenever they need help, they think anyone they see around them is the one that's supposed to help them, despite them not working there. I don't know, that's just my guess. Or they're just stupid, I don't know. This story's called Today I Fudged Up by Going on a Date Out of Desperation. So, obligatory, this happened a while ago. Strap yourselves in, folks, this is quite the trucky-wucky. At the age of nearly 21, I had still never been on a proper date in my life. All my single together forever friends were now pairing up, and realizing I was going to be the only single one in the group, I was starting to worry a bit. Luckily, right then, for the first time ever, someone asked me out on a date. The person I was dating was someone I'd met twice at a college society. I didn't think she was really my type, but as everyone always said to me, always give it a shot. So I gave it a shot. I prepared with all the nice outfit and everything, and made my way to the restaurant and took my seat right on time. She showed up 20 minutes late. Off to a great start, huh? When she did finally show up, the first 30 minutes or so went pretty smooth actually. We talked, we laughed, we ate our meals, and were able to keep the conversation going. The date was staying afloat. We had more in common than I thought, or so it seemed. This date happened in early June, and my seasonal allergies were at their peak. This is where things start to go a little awry. Unfortunately, my nose started to run. My date loudly pointed out, "Your nose is running," as if I hadn't noticed. I stupidly didn't bring any tissues with me, so I had to go to the restaurant's restroom to get them. And do you remember how I said this was like the first date I'd ever been on? I really wasn't familiar with date etiquette. And alas, I was, shall I say, an eager virgin at the time. Yeah, a freaking condom fell out of my pocket as I got up, and she saw it and looked at me. I looked down at it and pretended as if I hadn't just dropped a condom out of my pocket. It was the most awkward moment of my life. I ran to the restroom to gather my breath, leaving the condom on the floor. I had packed 2, so I still had 1 left. I grabbed the tissues, blew my nose, stockpiled a load of tissues, and went back to my seat. We both pretended as if the whole condom thing hadn't happened, and things started to get back on track. And that's when she revealed to me her love of hentai. Spent the next hour at the table feigning surprise and laughter at really messed up anime. Up to and including animated bad videos. I would go into more detail, but it appears I have blocked out most of that experience from my mind, and probably for good reason. After that, she said we needed to get drunk together. You can see how this is just going from bad to worse. So we went off to the local store and she bought lots of alcohol. Then she begged to come to my place. I didn't expect guests, so I hadn't exactly tidied my room, and by that, I mean it was an absolute bomb site. In the 30-minute walk to my place, she said she couldn't wait for me to show her memes and videos that I was into. Oy vey. We got to my place, and then she immediately started drinking. And let's just say I was not into her hentai crap. So I put on some tamer memes that were popular at the time, but are totally outdated now. Then she, already tipsy, grabbed my arm and said we had to play Never Have I Ever. At the time, I had done absolutely nothing. I hadn't even had my first kiss yet. I tried to get out of it by saying that you need lots of people for Never Have I Ever, but she absolutely insisted and said she'd leave otherwise. Honestly, in hindsight, I have no idea why I didn't just say, well, frickin' leave then. I wish I had. It would have saved me from what came next. The next 2 hours of my life consisted of her saying stuff like, never have I ever been fludged between the library bookshelves at 2 p.m. on a Thursday during the semester. Then she'd take a big swig and say, what? You've never done that? I have. My goes consisted of things like, never have I ever been to China, followed by her saying, it's gotta be a sex act, bro. Eventually, by painfully, slowly dialing back the extremeness of the sex acts to basic ones, she was able to zero in on my virginity. She was absolutely wasted at this point, absolutely way past it. She just started slapping my back, going, virgin! You're a freaking virgin, that's classic! I'm such a freaking floozy, and you're a freaking virgin! And how are you a virgin at 20, man? I lost my virginity at 40! This went on for 2 freaking hours. And bearing in mind, she was screaming this to the high heavens, and I have neighbors. Then, all of a sudden, following all that ridicule, she started crying about her sins, as she came from a religious background. Me, completely stone sober because I drank freak all and never have I ever, tried to comfort her by rubbing her arm. Turned out, it wasn't her freaking arm I was rubbing. This started the, oh my god, you touched my boob without my consent, you freaking men are all the same! Speech. She was so drunk she could barely get these words out. I tried to convince her it was a genuine accident, but eventually she said, it's fine, I forgive you. I understand that men can't control themselves, especially incel virgins like yourself. This angered me on so many levels. I don't even know where to begin. Looking back, I really don't know why I didn't just kick her out right there and then. Eventually, the effects of the alcohol started to wear off and she was starting to feel a bit crap. Fearing she was going to puke into my toilet or on my bed, I told her, come on, let's get you some fries. She could barely walk and I had to carry her for 20 minutes till we got to the only fast food place that was still open at 1 a.m. on a Sunday night. Every second of the way, I was anticipating a face full of puke at any moment. Thankfully, it never came. Along the way, she started making more references to me being a virgin and the fact I touched her boob. When we were waiting on our fries and she was starting to sober up and feel pretty awful, she hit me with a mahoosive freaking revelation. She revealed to me she already had a boyfriend. At this point, I'd simply had enough. We ate our fries in silence and then I got up and left. I was done. absolutely done. I was going home to bed and she could find her own freaking way home. Then the mother-loving cherry on the cake of total and utter cluster loving. As I got up to leave, guess what fell out of my pocket? The other mother freaking condom I'd packed. I'm literally not making any of this crap up. But to be honest, I was so past giving a crap that I didn't even get much anxiety when it fell out. And I couldn't give less of a crap what she thought. I told her to message me when she had gotten back home safely, then I hightailed it out the door and walked home alone. As soon as I got the message she was safe, I blocked her and went to bed. God freaking damn, I had to leave the society in order to never see her again. First of all, let's admire how much of a good guy this guy was. You know, taking care of an annoying, rude, drunk girl at 1 in the morning and walking her to a fast food restaurant. That's some quality guy stuff right there. And also, he really didn't have to wait until she got home safely for him to block her. That was really thoughtful because, you know, drunk chick walking around in the dark at 1 in the morning, that's a little at risk there, man. But hey, man, don't sweat it. You know, you just gotta keep looking. You know, this guy obviously wants a nice girl that's not absolutely rambunctious like this chick was. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.